Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Loud on my end.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's just the volume was down. Okay, so we are officially up to page 98 about chatzos. The question whether we need to have this
This chart.
this chart. I don't think. Okay, I think we're gonna skip this page. I don't think it's so important. Obviously, we know chatzos fluctuates in different places at different times. Basically, what the page says is that it indicates that it can fluctuate dramatically, and that doesn't even take into account daylight savings time, right? It can go from 11 in Yerushalayim and Alexandria. He has Yerushalayim and Alexandria. Just looking at Yerushalayim for a minute, the which is the B, right? So in the 3rd of November, chatzos is 11, 22, and 41. And in the on the 12th of February, it is 11:53 and 28. And so it never actually reaches 12 noon. Whereas in Alexandria, which is not far away, obviously it's going to be a few minutes difference. 11:43, 41 is chatzos at its earliest time, and 12, 14, 28 is going to be chatzos at its latest time. So obviously all this has to do with latitude and longitude, and it's going to fluctuate depending on where you are. Okay, that's basically the page 98. Page 99 is about Dim Dumim, which is the time between Zricha and Shkia, and I'm sorry, Zricha, no, between Alosa Shachar and Zricha, and the time between Shkia and Sesiko Chavim. And there are various different definitions of this, and he gives his own definitions here. In the middle section, he says that dimdumim are similar to the Hebrew, in Hebrew are also known by the term neshef. But let's read that piece here.
I've never heard that term, I don't think.
You ever sing a mavdil?
Hmm?
You ever sing a mavdil, Motzei
I do
Shabbos?
sing a mavdil. I don't claim to understand every word in it.
Neshef erev yom b'yishon loila.
Yeah, okay.
It's there. Okay, so it's rare, but it is there.
What's it mean, basically?
He says it means twilight.
Okay.
This the Gemara Psalm says it's the means to exhale, right? Linshof. So it means that we one is exhaling from one day into another day, another from a day. The exhalation. It's expiration,
Okay.
I guess would be another word for it. Okay. בספרות ההלכה מוצאים את הביטוי דמדומי חמה, והוא מציין את הזמן הסמוך לזריחה או לשקיעה, לפני ואחרי. So it's sometimes dimdumim sometimes applies to the time right before shkia. It says, and this is a very interesting issue. Gemara Brachas. Gemara Brachas says that you're supposed to daven mincha im dumdume chama. And the question is what dimdume chama means. So the normative understanding, which is the non-Chassidic understanding, or non-Mogen Avram understanding, I should say, is that it means just before the sun sets. It's ideal to do it just after the sun sets. According to the Mogen Avram, it means just after the sun sets, because the Mogen Avram holds that there's that really after Shkia is still daylight until the second Shkia, which is 58, about an hour later than the first Shkia. So therefore, Dimdu Mecham according to him means after sunset, before the second sunset. I don't know if we've ever gone in this book through the idea of there being a second Shkia, which is a very big shortcoming of this book. I'm sure it's somewhere, just we haven't seen it. But what?
We may not have, although now that you mentioned it, it sounds a little bit familiar.
So just basically, according to Magen Avraham, Avram goes to the assumption that in the Gemara that the sun goes around a dome at night.
Right.
So therefore, the Shkia Rishona is when the sun starts going straight out.
Okay.
Shkia Shnia is when the sun starts going up behind the dome.
Okay.
So from the time of our Shkia, for about an hour, 58 some odd minutes, if you go according to 72 minutes, it's considered to be still daytime mamish. It's
Okay.
only considered to be nighttime, it's ben hashmashas, when the sun starts going up behind the dome.
Okay.
Some dimdume chama, according to Magen Avraham, means after the sun is set, because it's still Zman Mincha, according to him. And the Hasidim who follow Magen Avraham, they daven Mincha therefore for an hour after Shkia.
Okay.
Because they hold it's still dimdume chama. It's said, I don't know if it's actually true, but I don't always doubt it, that in Hungary and other places in the old world, they actually didn't start Shabbos until the second Shkia. And when they came to America, again, this I don't know if it's actually true, but this is what I've heard. Moshe Feinstein told the Satmar Rebbe, you can't do this in America. In Hungary, you could have done it, but here, it's going to cause too much machlekas, too much confusion. And therefore, you have to go along with everybody else, and you have to start Shabbos when the first Shkia takes place.
Okay.
Now, it's hard for me to believe the Satmar Rebbe gave in to Reb Moshe, but that's what they say. So in any event, so that's, he says, Dimdumim are either before or after. Okay? So, V'lav dafka b'muvan dimdumim k'mashmato b'yilshon yameinu. Doesn't necessarily mean what it means today, which is, I'm not sure exactly what it means today, which is differently than what it meant back then. Dimdume means when something subsides. Okay. B'lumat zot, b'nesfat ha'ibrit shel yameinu, he's yached shush between nefesh. What's that?
In Lelit?
In Galilit? I have no idea what that means. Okay, whatever it means. לכן נמנעים היום משימוש בביטוי זה לציון זמן המעבר כנ"ל. Oh, Chinga is Arabic for party. Chinga Leilit means a nighttime party. So in secular Hebrew nowadays, the word neshef is used to describe a party we're going to have at night. Okay? And that's true. The word neshef, I mean, tonight is January 1st. You'll hear, if you look at the secular literature, you read a lot about a neshef Sylvester, right? A party for the New Year's Eve, which I don't know which country it's called Sylvester, but that's what they call it in Hebrew. So so that is the idea of a chingalilit. I don't know why you couldn't just say a mesiba, but anyway, chinga is the Arabic word. That's why we don't use the word neshef nowadays, even though in the Talmud it's used that way, because now it has taken on a distorted meaning. In the professional literature, of sailors, bavirim, and pilots, nautical and aero, what are not. They only use the term dimdumim ketargum lemunach angli Twilights. In this first English word we saw in the book. Kan nishtamesh b'shnei hamunachim neshev v'dimdumim kimilim nirdafot. So neshev and dimdumim are synonyms.
Okay.
Now let's go to the side. Mahuta dimdum. Lachar shkia kasher guf hashemesh ne'elam meitanu. After Shkia, when the sun is hidden from us, or before sunrise, before the sun is with us, kanei or shemesh, the rays of light of the sun, nishbarot, they're broken, umitpazrot, and they're scattered, b'shichvot avi elionot, atmosphere, ele marot dimdumim haniglim lanu. Okay. I'm not sure exactly why he has tells about the astronomy, but so that is the definition of dimdumim after Shkia, right? And it says, then he says the same thing on the On the other side, it's true about morning and evening reflective. They both reflect the time before or after sunrise in the morning or after sunset in the evening. It says below the box on the right, high places where the air is pure and light, thin. משך הזמן של דמדומים קצר יותר, בירח. Yeah, in the moon, I guess you stand on the moon. למשל, אין בכלל דמדומים. There are no twilight. כי אין שם אוויר. והמעבר מאור לחושך מיד מרגע שהשמש נעלמת. So it's interesting. I see now why he had to tell us this the scientific definition above. He's telling us that the reason why we have twilight is because we see the rays of the sun refracted through the atmosphere coming to us even after the sun has set or before the sun rises. Whereas in the moon, I'll take his word for it, there would be no such thing because there's no air to refract the rays of the sun, or so therefore immediately become nighttime. And he says the higher up you go, the less air there is, and the less and the more pure it is, the less of a twilight you'll have, which is a fascinating idea. Okay, and then on the left side it says hamorot haniflaim shadim dumim motzei boker ve'erev tiranin. I guess it's a quote from somewhere. Hatzvaim, in other words, it makes the coming of the evening, the coming and the going of the evening enjoyable. Hatzim bagvanim shonim shoshmei ofek samuch l'shkiat hachama. This the color and the hue of various different colors of hues of the sky, the horizon, right after sunset. Hey marot yafim ha so shovim et halev, which capture the heart. Yeshnam makomot ba'olam hamitztainim b'micham marot ele. This outstanding is this Kigon al rikam shaharei kerach otzuk eben, on the background of a mountain of ice or a cliff, a stone cliff. Okay, so the basically he goes on to say that there are three definitions of neshef, and these are secular definitions. He says the first one, a nefesh ezrachi, that is the civil twilight. So he says it's 6 degrees under the horizon, both in the morning and the evening. So indeed, that is more or less the Tzeitzah Kochavim according to the Baal Tanya. Tzeitzah according to the Baal Tanya is 5.9 to 5 degrees beneath the horizon. Okay, so evidently that is in line with the civil Tzeitzah Kochavim. It makes sense because if you look at stars, 3 medium stars come out approximately when the sun is 6 degrees beneath the horizon. So therefore, that would make sense for Tzeitzah Kochavim. In the morning, however, Alos HaShachar is considered to be earlier. That's why making a Shah's Manis is not measured from Alos HaShachar to Tzeis, according to the Gra or the Baal Tanya, because then it'd be lopsided. Because the start of the day is earlier than the end of the day. Okay, the start of the day of Amud HaShachar is when light begins. Tzeitzah Kochavim is not when light ends. It's when stars appear. It's not the same thing.
It's longer.
What?
It would be longer.
Right, longer in the morning. Okay, so that's why that's why there's that difference. That's why the unlike the Magen Avraham, they determine shows maniot from Zricha to Shkia. Then he says a Nefesh Hayami, the nautical twilight, is longer. It's 12 degrees, twice as long, 12 degrees and 12 degrees. I assume because the he says here you could without reading inside, he says that sightings can be made based on the horizon until the sun is 12 degrees beneath the horizon. When you're at sea, you can see well enough that you can still go see till 12 degrees beneath the horizon in order to make calculations. Okay, so it's kind of arbitrary. And then he has a neshav astronomy. So that actually is from 18 degrees both ways. And that's very similar to Rabbeinu Tam. And to it's around the same time as Alosa Shachar is. There are two Shitas Alosa Shachar, 16.1 degrees beneath the horizon and 19.8 degrees beneath the horizon. And they are both around the same time, on either side as 18 degrees. So that would make sense with that cheshbon. Okay. So he said, and the bottom he says, or Rishon and or Achron. Or Rishon is 6 degrees beneath the horizon, 6 degrees beneath the horizon, coming up, and or Achron is 6 degrees beneath the horizon, going down. And the Orech HaNefesh obviously is going to change. Bethem l'rochav hamakomi v'tkufat hashana. Right? Meshes man you do nikvar kamur le'al pi makom himatzah shel shemesh b'ma'alot mitachat la'ofek. Pisa mishtane orech haneshev bethem l'rochav ha'geografi shel hamakom. With the latitude. K'mochem mishtane orech haneshev b'yimei hashana bethem l'nitiyat hashemesh b'tkufot hashana shonot. The angle of the sun towards the earth. Achnasim le b'tabla shel on the table he presents here. Shein orech hanefesh kashur l'orech hayamim. It's not connected to the length of the days. Hayom hakatzar k'yadua b'chodesh December. V'yufishin elon hanefesh katzar nofel b'October. The beginning of the fall. So this is a very a very complicated table, and everything. I'm sure the cheshbonos to come up with this are very complex mathematically, and therefore I have no desire to know anything about it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's finish the page. Zman neshav ha'erev neshav boga pi halacha. No says that shekvit meshav zman adim demim v'shaychuto lo yom l'layla. Whether that's to do with day or night, or whether it's its own time. Many of the Ritva is famous for saying that the Ritva among the Rishonim, Rogacha among the Achronim, were saying that Bein Hashmashos is its own time. It's not day and not night. It's a fusion of day and night, and it's not that it's a suffix in halacha whether it's day or night, but rather it's a, as the Lumd says, a chefza shel suffix, something where it's by definition comprised of both. Okay. Okay. So the so tofes okom chashuv b'sifrot halacha me'achar v'yesh lezeh hashlochot l'kiyuman shemitzvot rabot v'shen elel gam b'sifrot hamikzuit hachilonit yeshnam kriyut shonot l'meshach zman adimim. So obviously we have it makes a big nafkamina for us, just as it makes nafkamina even in a secular count. Yes, that's true. As we said before, it's a complete part of the day from Alosa Shachar till Neitzachama. A small part of the day is, most of it is night. It's considered independently. Like I said before, so there are much more complications for some reason, which I assume is going to explain the next pages, as to the Bein Hashmashos during the nighttime, and Bein Hashmashos from day to night, to Bein Hashmashos from night to day. And that is what he's going to speak about in the next 2 pages, which in Mirz Hashem we will see in more detail.
Right.
Okay?
Ugh.
That was cute stuff. Okay, speak to you next week. Mirz Hashem. Have a great week.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy your day off tomorrow.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.